with a certain harmony with the nature. So when there is a time when literally every living entity in the whole world sleeps, unless you are a nocturnal animal like an owl or a cockroach. We are meant to be sleeping at night and waking up early in the morning so we can go in harmony with the nature. No, but the mind will push us to stay awake. No reason, but it will not let you to sleep. One of my friends used to tell me, nighttime when you go to sleep, your body complains so much, this position is not good, why is the noise there and everything. Early in the morning, have you noticed? Whichever position you sleep, you will feel sleepy. You have that experience? Early in the morning, whichever position you go, you will feel sleepy. But nighttime, your mind, because it's still active, it will complain. Oh, why this? This is very cold, or this is very warm. I need something to cover my body, so on and so forth. Why is this bed so hard, so on and so forth. It will say like that. Mind will imagine pleasure and maximize the problem. Simple little discipline which we want to inculcate, mind will protest against it. Because mind doesn't like any austerity. It just wants to go with the flow, just to chill out, just make merry all the time. It doesn't like to do anything productive. But if you think about your experience in this life, if you want to do anything substantial, you need to put some effort in it. Okay, some of you are here coming to temple, you have to catch a bus, it's not easy. You may have to walk from your bus station to here. There is some effort that's actually involved. But actually, if you think about it, it's a little effort that we do. But then we gain the knowledge that kept us guessing for such a long time in our life. But by investing a little time, you may be sitting in your home and listening to this. By investing this little time in our life, what we are in effect doing is we are sharpening the pencil, as they say. Yes, it is an investment, but in the long run, with this tiny investment, we are going to benefit because we all will be living for easily. You have my blessings. Live for 100 years, no problem. All of you are very young. I'm 43. I don't know how long I will actually live. But if we train our mind, we can channelize the power of that, just like I gave example of an elephant, like that. So two things we saw: it magnifies the problem, it imagines pleasure. There's another thing that's said about the mind also in the scriptures, and that is it neglects opportunities. Whenever mind actually sees this is going to be little difficult, mind would say like, nah, I don't want this. What's the point? It will just neglect it. When for example, if you're a student, I know of the students who have registered for this course, half of you are already working. And you may be working full-time now. You may have finished your degree by now. You may be working now. Best time to apply for job is at the start of the financial year, at the start of even the calendar year. But your mind will neglect this, neglect that, and then finally it will think like, yep, now we can apply, and it's already November. You can't see much opportunities because usually that's the downtime for all the businesses. Finding job is very difficult. Be it part-time or full-time, it's always difficult. So, but if you go with the system, there is a certain discipline. In English, there is a saying, early bird gets its prey. So if you do your work on a timely manner, then you will always stand to gain more. You will always stand to have your edge over others. But if you don't engage your mind properly, then mind will always push you to take the lazy path, and because of that, you are going to struggle for the rest of your life. Or things which would have taken a very, very short time would take forever. Because you already lost the edge, now you have to go against the tide, and it becomes very difficult. It's like landing in a job in the month of December. You know how difficult it is. Even changing home is difficult in December. Nothing. Everyone is going on like festival mode, winding down mode. Magnifies problems, imagines pleasures, neglects opportunities also. And it denies reality. Somehow we all experience, we are superheroes. For others, they may need to work, or superheroines. Others may need to work. Others may need to take care of their body. Nature's law doesn't work for me. We think like that. What makes us think like that? Again, it's our mind. It ignores reality. It says, or it denies. It may be true for others, but not for you. If it's cold outside, if you go without covering your head, covering your hand, feet properly, you are most likely to catch cold. But your mind will still push, because mind likes to be lazy. So it will push you that it may work for others, but not for you. Don't worry, you won't catch cold. Is that true all the time? Once, twice, you may escape, but sooner or later you will catch cold. if you follow just the whims of the mind. So these are some qualities that are given of the nature of the mind. These are some qualities that are given about how mind works. Now, is this all doom and gloom in our lives? Definitely not. As much as Arjuna speaks about nature of the mind, Krishna also speaks about the nature of the mind in Bhagavad Gita. You can read 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. It's called Dhyana Yoga. It talks in detail about how to meditate, how to focus the mind in one object, how to go into ecstasy, how to go into trance, so on and so forth. It's given. A lot of details are given. But what we need to understand is there is a certain process, there is a certain method which we are supposed to follow. If we follow that method, then controlling the mind is easy, channelizing the power of the mind is very, very easy. On the other hand, if we try to experiment too much without, or rather, as they say, if we just try to reinvent the wheel, we'll end up doing the same activity and it will take much more longer. Normally, they say experience is the best teacher. Have you heard about that saying? Experience is the best teacher. You know the second half of the saying? Because fools learn no other way. That's the second half of the saying. Wise men will always learn from other people's mistakes. Correct? We don't need to. If something didn't work for others, why do I have to do the same mistake to learn the whole thing again? That's where wisdom comes into picture. Wisdom means someone else has already done it. Someone else has already experienced and they have experienced a certain outcome. It is wise of us to go tap on that experience and take it so we can go from point A to B. We can go to the next level rather than going and reinventing the same thing over and over and over again. Understand? So Krishna, he created this body, he created this whole creation and he has given this manual called Bhagavad Gita. So we take that and we apply. One of the common questions I get asked is, Bhagavad Gita is so old, isn't it? It's old. It's an old book. Normally, if you take a newspaper expires after some time. In fact, if you go now even to railway station, they'll give you some free newspaper. You go just after an hour, you will see the whole station, trains, everything littered with that same newspaper because it's no longer updated news. News has already changed. People just move on. But Bhagavad Gita, if you see, it's 5,000 years old, according to Mahabharata, at least. 5,000 years old, but still people derive value out of it. How is that possible? Because Krishna is addressing the fundamental nature of humans, which hasn't changed. The flavor changed. Those days also people were greedy. Do you think there are greedy people now? What do you think? There are. Those days also you will come across people who are tyrannical. Do you think you have people who are tyrannical? People who try to throw their weight, try to dominate, try to go usurp people's property, everything. It's always there. Those days also there were thieves. Do you think there were thieves here now? Absolutely. It's a very lucrative business, security. So you will find fundamental nature of humans hasn't changed. And because the fundamental nature of humans hasn't changed, Bhagavad Gita still holds its relevance. Based on your experience, do you think the overall nature of humans will change somehow in another 10,000 years? No. 20 million, 20 billion? No. So Bhagavad Gita will always remain ever fresh. So whatever Krishna has spoken in principle, we can simply take one verse, we can analyze it, and you will come up with n number of realizations. You can apply that same knowledge in so many different applications, in so many situations, and you will still get the most perfect answer in your life. That's why studying Bhagavad Gita is very important. Understanding Bhagavad Gita is important. We can learn something very small. Today, I just touched on one simple verse, but you go back home and you can think about it. If I'm not wrong, it's Bhagavad Gita, 6th chapter, 34th verse. 4 qualities we touched on. I'll wind up now before I open the floor for questions from all of you, including those who are here. So, first one is Chanchalam. Mind is always restless. Himana Krishna Pramati. It's very, very agitated state all the time, very turbulent. Restless means it will move from one to the other. It can't stay in one place. Agitated means it's always in a bit of a tension. If somebody comes and says something, immediately it will get spurred with so much anger, so much pride, ego gets hurt, so on and so forth. You will see. Normally, you will see because of this particular quality of mind, relationships break. Mind will always tell only one version of reality. Let us say we are in this room, or whoever, you are in your home, you just look around, you are in this room, and there is two windows, one on your right and one on left. And imagine on one day, you are looking out on the right side window, and you have your friend looking out, peeping out over the left side window. And you say, I see a car. And your friend says, no, I see a tree. Your mind immediately will conclude, my friend is lying. Is that true? No. Both are two versions of reality. What you do is also right because you are looking in the one side. Your friend is looking in the other side. He is also right. Rather than giving benefit of doubt, which is one of the most fundamental qualities for any strong relationship, mind will always pick on fault. Let's say, I'll give you another example. You and your friend are going to a movie theater and you're waiting outside for some time, waiting for your friend to arrive. 5 minutes gone, 10 minutes gone, 15 minutes gone. Do you think your mind will say, it's okay, calm down. After all, he's your friend. He would have something very, very important. Or maybe, he's feeling sick or she's feeling sick. No. Why is my friend late? You'll pick up the phone and you'll ask, where are you? You won't even say, hi, how are you? Have you taken your dinner or have you taken a meal? Is everything all right? Where are you? Because our mind already has convinced our friend is deliberately coming late and he doesn't care about me waiting here. Is that true? Maybe. Most of the times, it's not the case. You are not dealing with your enemy. You are dealing with your friend. Correct? There is a reason why you treat the person as your friend. Because he or she is your well-wisher. That's why. But mind will never give you that version of reality. Mind will only tell about our problem. Remember, magnifies the problem. Mind says, more important than the health and well-being of my friend, me having to wait or waste 5-10 minutes in my life is very, very important. That's what the mind says. Chanchalam hi mana Krishna, pramati balavadridam. Very, very strong. I gave you example of an elephant. Idle mind is devil's workshop. It's such a huge power, raw power. If only we know how to channelize it, it will be much easier. And dridam. Dridam means very stubborn. Once the mind fixes on something, usually something material, could be iPhone, could be watching a movie, could be, you get attracted to a person, very hard to get rid. Very hard to extricate the mind out of that and focus on something productive. We always get disturbed all the time. So understanding about this nature, if we sit and think like, yep, that sounds normal. Are you the only one? Is yours the only mind that feels that way? No. Everyone's mind feels the same way. Not just now, ever since the dawn of creation and forever. This is how our mind will be. Now, how are we going to control the mind? I'll just touch on one thing. We are going to talk in more detail next week about it. We control the mind by mantra. We control the mind by meditation. In fact, the very word mantra, if you dissect the word, it has two parts in it, man and tra. Man means mind. Tra means that which saves the mind, delivers the mind, or protects the mind. Manatra ititi mantra. That's how it's given in the scriptures. Now, because mind's natural propensity, default script is to go down. Mind normally feels very, very down. If I ask you, just ask yourself, you don't need to answer me. If I ask you in a week, how many good days you had and how many bad days you had? Normally, bad days will be so much more. Agree? If you take a whole day, if I ask you, how has your day been? You will not say, I have been ecstatic. Today, whatever I touched turned gold. No. I missed the bus. My phone battery died. Or I broke up with my boyfriend, girlfriend. I went to my job late. You will always have negative things to say. Lord, all of this happens naturally if mind goes unbridled. Now, I spoke about a huge elephant. In India, right next to the huge elephant, usually if you go to a temple, there will be one person right next to it. And that person may be very skinny. He's called as the Mahout. Have you come across? In India especially. You will have an elephant. Right next to him, there will be somebody who takes care, who's the caretaker of the elephant. Now, he may be very small, very skinny, very thin, but he has one small stick. How long do you think it will take for the elephant to break that stick? Not much time. It just needs to stamp on it and it's gone. But this person has one tiny stick. Mahout has a tiny stick with a tiny sharp nail at the tip of that stick. Whenever he senses the elephant is gonna run away or gonna act funny or gonna go wild, all he will do is, using that stick, he'll just prick little bit. And he didn't need to keep on doing that day in and day out, time after time after time. No. Initial times when he trains, he'll just prick it. Next time when it acts wild, he'll prick it again. What is he doing? He is training the elephant. So elephant knows, next time I turn, I'll actually feel it. I'll feel, if I act wild, I'll feel a pricking sensation. That's all the elephant knows. The elephant doesn't know it's the mahout who's causing the pain. It doesn't know. Now, between the mahout and the elephant, who is more powerful? The mahout or the elephant? In terms of the sheer raw power, elephant. But in terms of channelizing the power, mahout is much more powerful. Agree? Tiny guy, he knows how to control that huge elephant using that tiny small stick. It's an open secret, but elephant is not intelligent enough to figure that out. It will never figure out. Intelligence is like that. Between mind and intelligence, intelligence is not so strong like the mind. Mind, remember, elephant, huge, so much raw power. Problem is, mind can't control itself. Mind can be controlled only by the intelligence, but the intelligence has to be trained. Now, if you look at a mahout, yeah, all that's needed is just one stick and a small nail or some pricking thing or a needle at the tip of it. Fine, I can also become a mahout. Do you think you can become? Next time elephant acts a little wild, you will be scared to death. Agree? So there is a certain training that's needed. There is a certain tool that's needed in order to be able to properly channelize the raw power of the elephant-like mind. Understand? So the tool is the mantra. Mana trayatiti mantra. By definition, mantra means that which controls the mind. That's what it means. When we do meditation, that's exactly what we do. When we do mantra meditation, that's exactly what we do. So please remember this. Understanding about nature of the mind is important. But what is equally, in fact, more important is how to control that mind. And how do we control the mind? We control the mind by mantra. Now, what mantra to chant, how to chant, what's the science behind all of that, that we are going to discuss in our next session. Now, I'll stop here and open the floor for questions. Anything related to mind or intelligence? There are some questions that came up last week. Usually, I'm free on the weekend. I'll be able to find free time on the weekend. So there is still 3 questions that I have to, I think from Deepak, from Shushmita. I think there is some questions that's left. Others I've already posted back. So whatever that's still remaining, I will post it. As I said, during the session, please ask questions on the topic that we are discussing, like today. And any other question outside of this topic or what we discussed in the previous classes or anything under the sun, you can text me, no problem. I'll answer you outside of the class. Questions? Otherwise, I'm going to ask you a question now. Everyone is very quiet today. Okay, there is some chat that has come up. Okay, please mute. Okay. Okay. No questions. I'm going to ask you now. Tell me one quality of the mind from what we discussed today. I will ask Prashanta. You can unmute and you can speak. Yes.
Namaskar, Guruji.
Namaste. Hare Krishna. Tell me one quality of the mind.
It's very hard to control our mind.
It's very hard to control. Very, very stubborn. Wonderful. Thank you. Premina, any other quality you can think of?
Namaste, Guruji.
Hare Krishna. Any
Hare
other
Krishna.
qualities? Tell us.
Actually, I joined later on today. Like I joined just 10 minutes ago.
Yes. From what you heard so far.
I think I that in mind and in between mind and intelligence, mind is a lot
Powerful.
a powerful thing than intelligence, and we need to understand the way to to control our mind. And yeah, that's
Wonderful. Even though you have come late, you have paid perfect attention. Thank you. Pranav.
Chanchal,
Chanchal. Can you say in English?
restless.
Restless. Well done. Asta.
Turbulent.
Turbulent. Very agitated all the time. Wonderful. I'm in the right place and I'm actually very impressed with all your questions. Yes. Anything else you heard about the mind? Hitesh. Anything else? Any other quality of the mind you can think of? It is very strong. Balavadridam. Very good. Any question?
I
Arvind.
had a question.
Yes, who is it? Pranav. Yes, let's go with you first.
I wanted to clarify if there's 3 qualities of the mind or 4.
4.
Okay.
So 4
And
is,
can you just go through them, please?
yeah, I'll repeat it again. It's a chanchalam, which is restless. Pramati, agitated. Restless means it moves from one place to the other. Turbulent means it's always going up and down. Moving from one place is one quality, but always going like a sinusoidal curve in terms of its enthusiasm, in terms of its focus, in terms of like how you feel. So that's the second quality. Pramati Balavad, it's very, very strong. Dridam, it's very stubborn. Stubborn means it fixes its mind on something and then pulling it out, it's very, very difficult. Okay, so it's 4 qualities.
Okay,
You can
so
read
strong.
Bhagavad Gita. You can read that. It's my memory is intact. It's a 6.34, 6th chapter, 34th verse. Sorry, you were saying something else, Pranav.
I'm saying so they're strong and stubborn, and then how do those 2 differ? Like how are they different?
Yeah, so strong. A person who is strong doesn't have to be stubborn. To give the same example of, let us say, the elephant. Elephant is strong, but it can be very peaceful also. It can just follow anyone who actually leads them. No problem. You understand? So being strong is a different quality to being stubborn. Stubborn means somebody sitting in one place and you ask them to move. Little kids usually are very stubborn. And they'll say like, no, I want this chair. That is stubbornness. You fix on something, you are attached on something, and no matter what, you are not ready to let go. Usually, I gave example, last week of when India lost the World Cup final. Everyone knows it's over, but the mind is not ready to let go. Mind is still stubbornly holding on to it. Okay, playing it like in loop. The painful experience of getting defeated in a World Cup final. You understand? That is being stubborn. Okay?
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Let's go. Okay, if you don't have questions, I'll proceed further. Fantastic. Mind has got one other wonderful quality. It can be the best of friends or worst of enemies. There is another verse where Krishna says, imagine you might have come across this Aladdin and the genie. So when Aladdin brings out the genie, genie comes out and he says, oh master, please tell me, I can grant you any wish. And Aladdin then says, okay, do this, do that and everything. And the genie does it for him. Our mind is also like that. Whether you like it or not, comes out in front and it says, oh my dear master, please give me some task. If you don't give a task, I'm going to eat you. Unfortunately, that's the nature of mind. So mind comes out, it is such a big force, such a big raw power, energy, potency we all have. But if we don't know how to channelize that potency, it can bring our downfall very easily. Like I'll give you an example. People, when they commit suicide, somebody asked about ghosts. I'll answer that later. People, when they commit suicide, they go through some depression, something really, really stressing. They can't handle it anymore. Because of that, their mind pushes them to think and to be convinced that just to go commit suicide, quit this body, and everything will be fine. In fact, everything will be more blissful. Is that true? That's a big assumption. It's a big leap of faith, but that's what mind pushes them to do. Okay, death is given as one of the most painful experience in the scriptures. In fact, scriptures say when the soul leaves the body, it even quantifies the amount of pain that you'll go through. Normally, it's very difficult to communicate, right? If somebody says, I'm feeling very pained by this. How pained? It's very hard to explain because it's a very abstract thing. Only I can feel. I can't really communicate to others, correct? But scriptures are very, very precise. They pinpoint and they even quantify the amount of pain which you will go through when you die. You want to know? Scorpions. When a scorpion pricks you, how many of you have experienced being pricked by a scorpion or stung by a honeybee? We have some experience. So scriptures say you take 1,000 of those scorpions and they all sting at one point at the same time. How much pain you will experience. This is exactly the description that's given. That's how much pain one has to go through at the time of them quitting the body. So death is given as a very, very painful experience. Similarly, even birth is also given as a painful experience. It is so painful that we completely forgot. We have no memory of our stay in the womb of our mother for more than 8 to 10 months, actually. That is also given as one of the painful experience. But somebody going through so much stress because the mind has actually made them feel that way. Mind pushes, mind convinces them. If you stay like this, you are going to go through pain. Now, that may be true. But rather than letting the intelligence to take over, remember, we touched on this point. We can't train the mind. We can only train the intelligence. But mind pushes them to move away from their sense of discrimination. Because of that, unfortunately, they take an extreme decision there. Now, does the pain stop? No. Death itself is a big pain. What happens after that? Stay tuned. We can discuss that later. If somebody commits suicide, definitely, according to Shastra, next life is not going to be good. In fact, it's going to be even more painful. But that's what the mind does. Mind cannot be trained. Intelligence alone can be trained. Why? Mind does only 2 activities. It's surprising, but that's all it does. Mind knows only 2 modes. Normally, you will see light mode, flight mode, beast mode. Mind has got only 2 modes. Sankalpa and Vikalpa, it's given. It can accept or it can reject. That's all it can do. It cannot do anything more. It can accept, reject. It goes, looks at anything. Okay, it looks at a person of the opposite sex. It goes, looks at a nice eatable that it sees in a shop, looks at some garment in a showroom, looks at anything, or looks at a nice house, anything. Mind thinks about only 2 things. Accepting, rejecting, accepting, rejecting, accepting, rejecting. That's all it does. But mind normally, it starts to accept everything that it thinks is going to enjoy, and it's going to reject wherever it senses some difficulty. So it will reject things which it finds like, study well. It will reject. Go and do some exercise, keep yourself fit. It's such a painful exercise, I'm not going to do. Go to the temple. Why temple? I can just sit here and watch everything on internet. Everything mind puts a stumbling block, and mind actually makes us to actually think, don't do it. Anything which is easier, it will go and grab. Anything which it thinks it can enjoy, it will go and grab. Anything which it thinks there is some level of difficulty involved, it will reject. So mind will only go and accept, reject. It's like a pendulum swinging on opposite ends, basically. That's all it does. It swings between these 2 ends. Accept, reject, accept, reject. There is 2 other terms that's used in the scriptures called Bhoga Tyaga. Bhoga means enjoyment. Tyaga means renunciation. That's all. So same person, if two people come together for relationship, at that point of time, both their minds will actually hook and they'll say like, yes, this is the missing half of your life. Go. Establish the relationship. At that time, it has accepted. Same mind. You fast forward after few months, it will start to complain and it will go on to rejecting mode straight away. Same mind, it cannot say, stay in one place. Remember, chanchalam, it cannot stay in accept mode on the same thing all the time. Which means it's not that just because mind says, like I'll give you an example. Let us say you walk by in the city, some mall, Pitt Street Mall, and you come across a nice iPhone. Mind would say, okay, go and buy that. You will push yourself. Okay, even it may cost $2,000, $3,000. Somehow you'll go buy it. And then you'll use it. For how long? Next 6 months. Do you think your mind will actually say, all right, since you have last listened to me and you have bought this most expensive phone at that point of time, I'm going to leave you at peace for the rest of your life. Do you think so? No. As soon as the next version of iPhone comes in the market, guess what your mind is going to say about the same phone it lusted after? It will say like, this is a very old piece now. Same thing which it accepted at one point, it will reject also. In relationships, it does the same thing. When it enters into the relationship, it sees only positive things, magnifies, imagines pleasures, and it goes establish the relationship. Once it goes beyond a certain point, mind satiates and mind, guess what it says? No, reject the person and move on. So don't think that just because mind is accepting and rejecting, once it's accepted, it's going to keep the acceptance state forever. No, it changes the mode. That's why it's a pendulum. Will it ever stay in one place? No. What it rejected at one point of time, it may accept it later. What it accepted at one point of time, same thing it may reject also later. Understand where the mind is going. So we are constantly pushed, pulled, tossed around with just the desires of the mind. That's what happens. Now introducing intelligence. Mind can't be trained. Mind will only keep on going here, there. All the intelligence need to be trained is to control the mind to make the right choice. That power comes from the mahout. Remember, imagine the same mahout is sitting on the back of the elephant and the elephant is walking. And if the elephant, instead of going left, if it goes right, what do you think the mahout will do? Prick again. Guess what the elephant will do? Change direction immediately. Understand? Same way, intelligence also. When intelligence is trained by the Shastras, when the intelligence is trained with the proper knowledge, when intelligence is trained with wisdom, what the intelligence will do is, it will control the mind. Whenever the mind is making a bad decision, in other words, when the mind goes to say, let's go to the same iPhone example, goes through the mall and it says, okay, buy that. Intelligence will say, no, you can't afford that now. Wait for maybe Christmas sale. It will pull it back. So next time again, mind will go this side. It pulls it back again. When the mind whinges about your partner, intelligence pushes, saying, yeah, there may be some misunderstandings, but I love this person. If I love a person genuinely, how can I ever hate the person? Misunderstandings may be there. Intelligence would actually come and it will come highlight on the positives. Intelligence will make two people sit together and reconcile on the relationship. That's why intelligence is very, very important. Same way, if you don't study properly during the course of your semester, intelligence will come and it will tell, look, if you don't study, just before exam, you are going to go through a lot of stress. You are going to go through so much pain. You may have to redo the course. Worst of all, you have to pay the course fees again. So then mind will be like, okay, I'll do. It's going to like, but the intelligence will pull up. No, focus. And same thing you can apply for anything, any situation you can apply. So two things we have to do simultaneously. One is we have to calm the mind and we have to strengthen the intelligence. Say that again. Calm the mind, say it. Calm the mind and strengthen the intelligence. We calm the mind by chanting mantras. We strengthen the intelligence by studying Shastras. That's the role. If you only strengthen the intelligence and without calming the mind, controlling the mind will be difficult. Does it make sense? Because mind is still going to go here, there. But if you just calm the mind, focusing just on the mind alone, neglecting the intelligence, intelligence will get rusty. And mind, as I said, it's just a matter of time before it's just going to go again. So you need to do both of them simultaneously. You need to calm the mind by meditation. You need to calm the mind by chanting the mantra. At the same time, you need to strengthen the intelligence. Now, that's a deadly combination. Wouldn't you agree? With this, you now have the huge potency, huge, massive raw power, which you can channelize because you have calmed it down, not in terms of its strength, but you have calmed down its turbulence. You have pacified its restlessness. You are channeling it in a direction. But intelligence, you strengthen based on Shastra. So by these two combination, you can not only be happy, because your level of happiness depends on how slowly the pendulum moves. Calming the mind, is that correct? In fact, ideal is pendulum should be standing in a mean position. It should not move this side, that side. Your mind should not keep moving this side, that side at all. Mind will stay focused in one place. That's what mantra is going to teach us. When mind is calmed, now you have, imagine having an elephant which can take voice commands, which can go like an automated car without any driver. Isn't that a better situation than having an elephant with a mahout on top who's needed to actually control it all the time? Does that make sense? What mantra does is, it calms the elephant of the mind down. It still has its huge energy, huge potency, and it will not only be calm, it will also listen to the intelligence and it will just follow. All right, I'll just do this. Okay, we can never put trust on mind because old habits die hard. Mind will again start to go. When do you think you can actually trust an elephant? Saying, all right, elephant, I've trained it enough, it will come back to me whenever I actually need. No, at any day it can run away also. So we need to constantly be on the vigil. How do we keep on vigil? By doing these two practices simultaneously. Understand? So it's extremely important that we understand the science of mantra meditation. We understand about the qualities of the mind, and most importantly about how to control the mind. Now, one point we have to understand, someone texted me the other day, if I get all the classes online, recorded version, why should I even attend the class? I said, that's a very good point. Good point, right? Naturally, it comes to mind. If I'm going to get all the recording in YouTube after the class, why should I even attend the class? Why do you think people go to a movie theater to watch movies? Why do people, when they can watch the same movie in their television at home? Why do people go to a stadium to watch a cricket match when they can watch the same cricket match live, sitting at the comfort of their own home? Why? Shivan Prabhu. Why do people go to stadium? Experience. Thank you. You want to experience it. Spirituality is an experience. It's a mystical experience. That mystical experience, you can't imagine, you can't force it upon yourself. And Shastras or scriptures, they say that mystical experience can be awakened only in the company of like-minded people. In other words, it's not something where you sit in one place, close your eyes, and it will just dawn on you. It's not possible. The way how you awaken this is by conglomerating together, be it online or be it face-to-face. Face-to-face is even better because you watch the match live here. So that experience is needed. That experience cannot be replaced. If you just sit and hear the recording alone, all you will get is just the knowledge. That you can get. That you can get even by reading the book, correct? But you cannot experience. You cannot get realizations. You cannot learn values that will become part of your value system. That's not possible. That's the reason why we should study it together. We should discuss it together. We need to be together. That brings me to the final point. It's 7:29. Any questions before I go for one announcement? Prashanta Shubedi, you have a question? Unmute and please ask. Is he still here? Yes.
Hi, Guruji.
Yes. Hare Krishna. What's your question?
Hare Krishna. How to read the people's mind?
Very interesting question. How to read people's mind? We can't read other people's mind. That's not possible. The soul that we are, we discussed about this before, we are the soul. Jurisdiction of the soul is only within this body. Soul can actually experience the consciousness boundary of the soul is only within this body. And understand? In other words, let's go for the same pricking example. If I bring a small pin and prick in my hand, I'll feel the pain, but you won't feel it. Even though you may be seated right next to me. In fact, you may be seated right next to me, shoulder to shoulder. Still, you won't feel the pain. Only I will feel it. Same way, if I prick you, only you will feel it. I won't feel it. Understand? So the jurisdiction means the boundary, area of influence, so to speak, of our soul is only where the body ends. The jurisdiction of our intelligence is also same, where our body ends. The boundary, line of control of our mind is also where our body ends. So you can't read someone else's mind. Unless you are in a very, 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 very elevated status, which is not something which you can imitate, and that is not within the scope of this course, and there is no one in this world who can do that even now. According to Shastra, people in Kali Yuga, they are very manda sumanda matya, manda bhagyahi upadritaha, it's given. We are generally, our attention span is very less. We are very misfortunate people. It's given like that, because everything, if you see right in front of our own eyes, like from your childhood days to where you are now, you can look around and you can compare the happiness, level of happiness that you felt when you were a child versus where you are now. It's already dwindling, you can see. Water quality has gone low. These days, you know, the tomato and capsicum, many times they taste the same. Have you got that experience? There's not much difference. So you can see the general quality is actually going, air quality going low, water quality going low. Things which we used to get for free, you need to pay money now. So standard of living, on one hand, we can say we are earning more, but we are also spending more. So much, you can see where the inflation is going and everything. So in Satya Yuga, in the one of the bygone Yuga, there's Satya Yuga, Treta, Dwapara and Kali Yuga. We are currently in Kali Yuga. In Satya Yuga, at that time, people were very, very focused. They are able to sit in meditation for a long time. People in those ages, they are able to see. We are not in that position to see. For us, it's a big achievement if we can just protect our mind and work in a very productive way. That itself will be a great achievement. Okay? Hare Krishna. Chrissy, unmute and speak.
Yeah, Radhe Radhe Guruji.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah,
What's your...
I've just got one question. I've been meditating for more than a year, but you know, it's just you like said earlier that how it's hard to control. It's like even if you're meditating, the thoughts are keep coming. Like you chant the mantra and still the mind goes like really far away, just like 7 miles away from here, and it's really hard to bring it up. And I've been doing this for a while. I haven't left. Then I thought maybe it could be the food. So I started having pure food. So I left the ginger, garlic, and onions, and then I left the what we call the bad foods. I mean meat and stuff. And then I started maybe could be the physical things, and then I started doing more of the physical exercises so I can stay maybe longer. Then
Yep.
It's a while, and then still with the you said how we can control the mind, and still I think I'm still at the zero. So
Yep.
my question is, how long does it take? Is it gonna be
Good
like
question.
5 years, 10
Thank
years?
you for being honest. As you You have already attempted to do meditation to control the mind, changed your eating habits. You have already done a lot. How long will it take for the mind to be completely controlled? It will take very long. Short answer. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, on the point that you mentioned, despite me chanting the mantras, mind still goes here. Krishna says, yato yato nischalati manas chanchalam astiram. He says, that's the nature of the mind. Even when you are trying to control it also, it will go. But Krishna says, yato yato nischalati, means wherever and whenever the mind goes, you have to still grab it and bring it back again and again and again. We'll discuss more on this when we discuss on mantras next week. But it's a very good question. But as you rightly experienced, that's how mind behaves. Mind will always go here, there. Even when you are trying to meditate also, it will go, it will still have its thoughts. Now, how to bring the mind back to the sound of the mantra, that we'll discuss next week. Okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other question from anyone here? There won't be any session after this. There won't be any question and answer session after the class. Okay, good. So the announcement which I wanted to make before we finish today's session is next session we will be meeting in person. And the reason for that is, as I said, spirituality or bhakti yoga, it's based on our experience. Experience means you can't just sit and hear in theory. There is only so much theoretical knowledge can actually take us forward. Theoretical knowledge alone won't satisfy us fully. It's just like somebody, let's say they want to become a surgeon. Okay, I've just finished reading all the book. That doesn't qualify them to be a surgeon. They have to have some practical, they have to have some hands-on experience. Without that experience, they can't be. Same thing. Somebody might have attended some simulation course, how to fly aircraft. Still, that's not good enough either. What matters is how much we are actually, even we may know little bit, how much are we in a position to put that into practice. And the more we are in a position to put that into practice, better it is. The lesser we actually focus on practical side and just focusing on just the knowledge and the theoretical side, more sooner you will lose inspiration to practice the process of meditation. Understand? So next week we are going to meet in person because we are going to teach you how to chant mantras. So the whole session will be on mantra meditation, how to control the mind. We will be discussing about the science of mantras. We'll be discussing about what posture you should sit, what should be your breathing pattern, how audible your mantra should be, what pronunciation should be. There is like so many things. And it will be, I'll be having a few more teachers with me as well. So we are combining both the groups. So our next session, we won't be meeting on Wednesday. Instead, we are going to meet on 3rd of February, which is not the coming Saturday, but the following Saturday. I'll send the information in the group. So it's going to be on the 3rd of February, and we are going to meet in the temple at 4 p.m. And the session will go for 1 hour. After that, we'll be serving you prasadam here. And then you can go back. So end to end, the session will go for 1.5 hours only. 1 hour will be the total session like how we do now. But instead of meeting next Wednesday, we'll be meeting in person here on 3rd of February. I'm going to make the same announcement to Friday batch as well. So you will see members from Friday batch. And we are also bringing in a third youth group also, which we run on Saturdays. So on that day, 3rd of February, we are bringing 3 batches together. And we are going to run the same session together. As I said, I'll be accompanied by a few teachers. And we'll be guiding you, we'll be training you. We will also have opportunity to see you face to face. You can also ask any questions during that time as well. As I said, experience matters. When we go to a movie theater to watch movie, and when we sit in home and watch movie, there is a difference. When we go to a stadium and watch a cricket match versus when we sit in the home and watch a cricket match, there is a difference. Same way, there is a big difference between practicing spirituality on one's own strength and coming together and taking strength from everyone. I'll finish with this point. Prabhupada, who is our founder Acharya of ISKCON, he gives example. Bhakti Yoga, we should follow cat style. We cannot follow monkey style. Monkey style means, if you look at a mother monkey, how does a mother monkey carries a baby monkey? Mother monkey doesn't make any effort. Baby monkey has to catch hold of the mother. And it's at the strength of the baby monkey. does the mother monkey able to carry the baby around. But a tiny baby, how long can it actually hold? How strong can it hold? When the mother monkey sometimes jumps from one branch to the other, it will let go of the hand and it will fall. Baby monkeys, you can see it happens. On the other hand, if you see a cat, how does the cat carries a kitten? A cat, baby kitten or baby cat, kitten, it doesn't do any work. Have you seen? Cat catches its neck with its mouth and then it carries. Baby cat or the kitten doesn't do any work at all. It just dangles like this. Have you seen it? Happily. So no work from its side, everything mother will carry. Bhakti yoga is like that. When we are in the association, it's called Sangha. We touched on this in the very first session. One of the 5 aspects of our training is based on Sangha, association. The more we come together, more, be it online or face to face, more we will take strength from each other. The more we think I can actually do everything on our own, more you have to battle with your mind all the time. Worst, you don't even know how much you are progressing. Like as Chrissy said, it's not easy for anybody to follow alone. On the other hand, we come together and you try to tap the strength from everyone, then you will see how others are doing. Yes, that girl or that boy is also in my situation. How are they adjusting their life? How are they prioritizing their life? How are they able to be happy? How are they able to practice spiritual sadhana? You will find a lot of inspirations that way. Okay, so that's the idea why we should come together. So as I said, in the very first session itself, we meet once every month. And for this time, it's going to be on the 3rd of February. And the session won't be recorded on purpose to push you to come to the temple. You miss it, you don't come, you miss that session. But I tell you, that session itself for your Gita fundamentals course, that constitutes 80% of the knowledge you will get, experiential knowledge, something which you will carry for rest of your lives. I learned it in 2006. And that's what I've been practicing for last, how many ever years, 18 years, 17 years. So this is very, very important. Make time. That's why we are giving you notice in advance. We are also canceling the class next week so that you can fix that time and make it to the temple. So it's on 3rd of February at 4 p.m. Please come here. You will be given set of beats and we'll be chanting together. You can also come, when you come on that day, you can also grab your books and we have whole other collection of books as well. You can take it on discounted rate. If you don't come on that day, you miss it. Same way, beads will be giving you your own set of beads, which you can take it made of Tulsi. We'll discuss about the Tulsi, glories of Tulsi also when you come next week. So we'll be touching on that one as well. So it's a very, very important session. And that's the reason why we keep it as part of the Gita fundamentals course itself. So you have certain hands-on experience and you just don't hear theory. So I hope whoever who is even hearing this, the recorded version of it, if you didn't make it to today's class, you will take advantage of this session. As I said, even if you have missed all the sessions so far, you still haven't missed as much as you would if you miss the 4th session on mantra meditation. So one session, which is most important, as I said, that constitutes almost 80% weightage of this whole course, is that one single session. So don't miss it. Make an effort. As I said, it's just once in a lifetime you will do. I attended this session once, but that is enough to carry me forward for so many years. So don't miss that session and please do come. Evening 4 p.m. We want to start early, finish early so you can catch public transport and go back home. We'll also be serving you sumptuous dinner as well. So don't miss the feast. The session is free, feast is free. Books, you can take Bhagavad Gita for $5. It's on a discounted rate. Beads, we give for any donation you can make. You can give $2, $5, $10, how much ever. But some donation we ask for because our tradition is beads, books, anything we don't give for free because you won't put any value. So we want to actually ask you to give some donation, so at least you know, okay, I've paid something, because money is very dear to us. Then you'll hold whatever spiritual gifts you take also very, very dear. So that's the idea. So thank you very much for your kind attention and thank you for your full cooperation by leaving all your camera on. I know it's an effort that you do. I know I'm going a little over time, but I want to emphasize on the 4th session, which is going to be next Saturday, 4 p.m. on 3rd of February. Thank you very much. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Radha Gopinath Bhagwan ki jai. Okay, you can unmute and you can say Hare Krishna and you can log out.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.